Bruh, I just had this random thought I want you to think about, just for a moment. Imagine how silly and broken it would be to see Crazy Dave and the team of plants travel all the way to the Warhammer 40k future. I know, right? It sounds crazy. Plants vs Zombies. Warhammer 40k. One game narrates the story of a rivalry that expanded to all periods of human history, leaving reality itself at border collapse due to the continuous travels throughout space and time that wouldn't stop thanks to the selfish ambitions of the masterminds controlling every important decision from the shadows. The other one? The other one is Warhammer 40k. Before we continue, let me clarify that this isn't gonna be a deep dive into the lore of these games, so I expect you to have some familiarity with them, since I'm only focusing on two specific factions colliding with each other: the army of plants against the forces of Nurgle. I think there might be other types of undead, but they are the closest things to zombies that Warhammer 40k has. But what does these two do for a living? Well, when they are not distracted killing zombies, the plants have a life outside of the garden they are planted on. They go to parties, play volleyball, go to schools, learn to drive, get jobs, reproduce. That's already more social activities than your average introvert will get involved into in his entire lifespan. Speaking from experience, yes. It takes one to know one. They are your eco-friendly alternative to machine guns, missile launchers, flamethrowers, landmines, mortars, nukes, and anything in between that is essential to defend your home and survive a zombie virus spreading throughout the whole world. Nothing wrong with liking real weapons, like a good old shotgun. But remember, switching to your pea shooter is faster than reloading. Yep, ain't nobody stopping you from carrying a plant in a pot or bringing some of them as your bodyguard, since Crazy Dave decided he wasn't tired enough of playing God that he also gave them the ability to walk.
Only a fool would play God!
What's going on, my fellow cripple? Nice chair. You can stand? Hey! Get up!
Wherever they are just happy to help humans survive this world-ending disease known as the zombie apocalypse. Or maybe not so world-ending, since they have proven of being able to keep a clean and working society entirely made out of zombies. One that doesn't make a lot of progress, but still works somehow. I mean, compare it to the stinky boys of Nurgle who get their strength from the fallen warriors they don't decide to eat, the permanently ill who wish they could do more with their lives after RNG Jesus decide to screw them over, and those who are literally too sick to say no to the voices on their head without realizing they are not talking to the walls but at the father of life and decay itself. This shit makes me realize how good the zombies from PvC have it compared to Nurgle's followers. They all rise from their graves and keep the profession they had before they died. Their corpses aren't used to make sopa de macaco. Umalicia. If you were to become a zombie, you will have a better time on PvC. You prolong your death as well, without the need of living in a world filled with vomit, the swarm of flies, the extra meat and extra mouths. Sure, you might get a huge exacerbation for brains and lose the ability to speak properly over time, but who's gonna care after you get a match?
Okay, that's intimidating, but maybe not as intimidating as my Z-Mech!
Even if driving isn't your thing, you can still get the Captain America treatment and become a super, while keeping your style and identity. I mean, come on, just look at them. These motherfuckers are wearing real Gucci and Jordans, and there's no sign of lice, so no excuses, gamers. Being an undead doesn't mean you can skip showers. They also get access to new toys to play with when some boss needs them to be more efficient. But at this point, we all know that he's just playing with them and seeing what he can do with his new toys. I mean, inventions. Even if you count every single time the zombies try to crush these plants, failure didn't represent the end of the world for these zombies. As long as no human or plant life was in danger, they could just chill with the plants in the same planet. Like, GG's man, we will get some brains next time. You know what happens when you fail to Nurgle? You get turned into spaghetti of biomass. Also, try to chill with Imperium of Men as a Nurgle follower. See how fast your asses are incinerated. So, considering how the life of these two factions work, who can do better in a battle to save or destroy a whole world? Plants don't go out of their way to influence more people, to plant more of them, or conquer any world they arrive to. The daily routine of a plant is the same as a civilian. A civilian not from Warhammer 40k, of course, since they are forced to pray a single god every day and work for the military that won't guarantee your family's safety even if you beat every single goddamn alien in this motherfucking galaxy that can overpower thousands of soldiers. In the bigger scheme of things, Nurgle prevails. There's no defeat for these dudes that can last forever. As long as there's light, there's darkness. As long as there's life, there's death. As long as there's sauce, there's a Mogus. That being said, the moment the plague arrives at the world where plants are growing, they're gonna go full Guardians of the Galaxy and throw them hands. I can totally say that these plants can hold their ground against these new types of zombies.
For I cast fist!
There's nothing for Nurgle to throw at these plants that can be countered by other specific plant, and if they have exploitable weaknesses, they can just develop new plants to compensate for it. Just like the plague dudes have their Nurgle to develop new diseases, the plants have their crazy tape to feed them with nutrients from mysterious sources. He will be like the Tony Stark of Warhammer 40k, being able to create spaceships, time machines, and AIs entirely from scrap from his garage. He will be persecuted for creating new things like AIs, which are considered heresy in the Warhammer 40k, but he can just keep moving while getting mad cash for selling his renewable, accessible, and cheap solution to your undead infestations. Humanity sure has a lot of guardsmen to throw at any problem, and can afford to lose a couple 100,000 millions of soldiers in battle, but with a good enough sun production, you can reach the same numbers. Who doesn't fear the humble lightning reed never walk in front of thousands of them. No forge world needed to create your weapons, no combat experience to give you the edge, or mechanicus to fix your shit. Just get some sun, get some water, and some shovels. It's shovel time! Even if the planet they're fighting for isn't in the best conditions, nature finds his way. Remember that scene from the movie Matrix, where machines harness energy from humans? Well, imagine that, but replace humans for zombies and machines for plants. It sounds horrible, and they do it every time with a smiley face. But to be fair, a lot of things are horrible in Warhammer 40k, so nothing to criticize here. In extreme cases, I can totally see a new breed of plants using power from chaos, just like a human psyker would. Imagine how cool those designs gotta be. Let's also mention that plants don't get infected as a fleshy human, but knowing that Nurgle has accumulated experience infecting all kinds of living things since the beginning of life, he will be more than glad to accept this challenge of making these plants weaker than before. Until then, how are the plague dudes supposed to deal with these plants? They sure make a good use of their 2 mouths to eat their foes, so that's gotta be an advantage, right? Well, it might be true against most defensive plants. A bunch of walls ain't gonna do much against a single zombie. Plants rely a lot on teamwork. But what might look like a free picnic can quickly turn into a deadly trap. Even if they are not dumb to fall for it, some plants have a thing to make themselves irresistible so they can get eaten and destroy the zombies from the inside. They also make gases so stinky that can stun the living dead. Now that's a skill Nurgle will be jealous of. Grouping as many zombies as you can in the same place at the same time isn't the best strategy when these plants can pierce through zombies regardless of how dense their defenses might be. Okay, yeah, whatever. But who's gonna stop such an imposing figure as a great unclean one from stomping their way to your brains? These plants can feel fear, so why not abuse that? Dude, these are plants. You know what else plants do besides making oxygen?
Oh, that's a big girl.
Dude, fucking whoa! It's the little guys who pack a punch, really. One step in the wrong direction, it's all these plants need to get your ass frozen or blown up or stunned. The amount of CC these plants can do will make a Overwatch player rage quit just from listening about it. It's hard to choose how to defend yourself when these plants can deal damage from melee and projectiles all the way to magic and emotional damage. I wish I was kidding, but no, read the Pokédex, the Almanac. I guess no undead curse can save you from these plants triggering your PTSD. What the fuck? Damn! You need to imagine how humiliating it will be to endure this everlasting curse and forget all sense of pain and still get goosebumps every time a lawnmower is turned on. And after that, you lose your lunch you worked so hard for because somebody decided to throw some seeds at the ground and water it.
Oh, hold up there, Buster. Oh, hey, couldn't help but notice you're trespassing on my land. Sorry, I was just hiking through it. Didn't know this was private property. Best get to stepping, son. I could just get off if you need me to. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Doing a lot of yammering, but unbeknownst to you, you're speaking your final words.
This is so fucking dumb. Why bother pushing these plants back when you can fly all over their stupid defenses? And yeah, it would be that easy if they couldn't blow so hard that can send all flying units outside of the planet atmosphere or smash it into the nearest rocks. It's not as bad as it sounds, really. It could be worse, like organizing a whole ambush across the galaxy only for it to be sent back with a time warp multiple times. From any place. At any moment. After trying all previous options to tackle the problem of having these plants on the way, the Plague Fathers will quickly learn that the best option to deal with these plants is simple magic. Sure, they can take a lot of bites. Sure, they can take huge hits straight to the fucking face. And can multiply as fast as any zombie horde. But the truth is, they still struggle to resist a simple transformation spell from a wizard. And you know what else it's Nurgle good at besides farting? Magic. Against all odds, these plants will keep fighting with the undead forces that put their future and the future of humanity in danger. Their main goal isn't devoting their lives to the gods, seeking all knowledge in the universe, or racism. It's friendship! Go to parties and get some sun at the beach, which is so stupid, egocentric, and out of place in this galaxy, which is why I need to see them in the Warhammer 40k throwing them hands. We need something else than the orcs and the ogres to make a contrast with the dark energy in this galaxy, as well as another alternative to the Tau for uniting the races. And now that's another faction who's also good at melee added to the list. At least that's how it will be until the Imperium of Man decides to screw around and find out that the plants can take their sun and move to the most distant planet of the galaxy out of reach of human hands. The first thing these plants are gonna complain about is how polluted the planets are. And you know how the Imperium of Man reacts when someone questions their authority. It's not gonna be chaos corruption what convinced these plants to turn their back on humanity. They are simply too base to take bullshit from anybody. Remember that zombies are just dead people, and with the line that differentiates them from humans becoming more blurry, the Imperium of Man better learn some proper manners.
This is not happening. This is not happening.
Aren't they supposed to be saving our asses?
Looks like there's been a change of plans.